Hi, folks. This is the GG podcast. Guess who's got banned from going to Great Britain? Who play? This is the GG podcast. Guess who's got banned from going to
John
Britain?
McCrae, aka What Do You Mean? And I had a perfect plan. We were going to head to Newark for DebateCon on Saturday, where I would debate Robert Spencer on the existence of Muhammad. After the debate, we were going to take an overnight flight to London. We would arrive in London Sunday morning, drop our bags at the hotel, and head straight to Speaker's Corner, where our Muslim friends would have an opportunity to thank me in person for defending their prophet from the Islamophobic attacks of Robert Spencer. We were going to spend the day at Speaker's Corner recording the Dawa guys as they run from us. Then we were going to take the Christians who go to Speaker's Corner to dinner. After that, we had a 3-day conference, the ARC conference. ARC stands for Alliance for Responsible Citizenship. Jordan Peterson, Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Douglas Murray, Oz Guinness, Konstantin Kisin, Dave Rubin, and many, many others were speaking. We had a number of interviews and collaborations lined up. Wednesday evening, after the conference concluded, we were going to board the Eurostar train from London to Paris because we had a video to record in the Louvre Thursday morning. As soon as we were done recording, we were heading back to the US from Paris. So it was supposed to be one of the most epic weeks in apologetics history. What could go wrong? Great Britain could go wrong, as it's been doing a lot lately. The organizers of the ARC conference sent us an email saying that as of January 8th, can't believe they did this on Elvis's birthday, as of January 8th, people traveling to Great Britain from the US had to apply for an electronic travel authorization, an ETA. I've been to Great Britain probably about a dozen times for conferences and debates, so I didn't think there would be a problem. Prior to January 8th, if you wanted to travel from the US to the UK, you bought a plane ticket and brought your passport. But now they require an ETA so they can weed out any undesirables. I applied for the ETA and they sent me a rejection message the day before we were leaving for DebateCon. The rejection email said that the rejection cannot be appealed and that if I want to travel to the UK, I have to apply for a visa. So I filed an expedited application for a visa and they instantly rejected it. Dawa clowns of Speaker's Corner, rejoice, for David Wood is apparently not allowed to travel to the UK for any reason ever again.
Wow.
Now, I don't believe that other countries are under any obligation to let me into their country if they don't want me there. I'm not allowed in Canada. If someone says, David, you should come to Canada and speak at our college, I tell them I'm not allowed in Canada. But I don't care much. The world is a big place. I don't have to go to Canada. I don't have to go to the UK. There are plenty of conferences here in the US. And if something really interesting is happening in Canada or the UK, I can probably follow it online. So why am I making this video? I'm making this video because instead of the British government saying, don't forget to get your ETA before you travel, as if it's this simple little step, they should be saying, warning, do not make plans to travel here unless you've been granted an ETA because the government can reject you without any option to appeal. Even if you've been here a million times, things have changed. So whatever you do, don't make plans or buy tickets until you've received an ETA. We made our plans before January 8th. So we didn't even know there was this huge change and that they're now filtering people out. This wouldn't have been much of a problem if I hadn't bought plane tickets, a conference ticket, Eurostar tickets, and Louvre tickets, all of them non-refundable because it never crossed my mind that I wouldn't be allowed to travel. So thousands of dollars totally wasted because I had no clue I was no longer allowed in the UK. I know now, but it's been a pretty expensive lesson. Fortunately, John got to go, and my conference ticket wasn't wasted. Tickets to ARC are expensive, but they let me give my ticket to a friend in London who said he'd love to go. But all the other tickets, wasted. So, attention, British government. Please warn people about this so they don't make the same stupid mistake I just made and waste a bunch of money that they really can't afford to waste. The British government, of course, isn't going to give people the kind of warning they should be given, which is why I'm making this video. I'm warning you, do not make plans to go to the UK unless you've jumped through their new hoops first. You may be thinking, but David, why would I want to go to the UK when it's rapidly turning into a third world Sharia compliant hellhole? Well, that's the reason. If you want to visit the UK when it still somewhat resembles the UK, you have to do that pretty soon because it's becoming unrecognizable. So if you ever want to see the UK, you need to do it in the very near future. And if you want to do that, make sure you get the ETA situation handled before you waste a lot of time and money. Great Britain banning me did make me think about an important difference between certain Western nations and pretty much all other nations. At first, I thought about Israel because when AP and I went to Israel last year, they seemed like they didn't want to let us in when we were at the airport. They asked us questions for like 45 minutes. Didn't seem very welcoming. But the reason they're so careful is that there are lots of people who hate them, and they don't want to let people who hate them into their country. When they found out through lots of questioning that we don't hate them, they let us in. That makes sense. But certain Western countries, the UK, Germany, Sweden, France, Canada, they want to bring in as many people who hate them as possible. The more you hate them, the more they want you. And if you want to help them, if you want their culture to survive and flourish, if you don't want to see them subjugated, you're the enemy. They don't want you there. It's absolutely insane. Eastern European nations, places like Poland and Ukraine, really don't want to be conquered or subjugated. They love their countries. If you want to help them, they'll appreciate your help. If you hate them or you want to destroy their culture, they don't want you there. Why would they? Very different from Western European nations where their leaders are plagued by guilt over things their ancestors did, and they think that the only way to atone for the sins of the past is to hand their cities and wives and daughters over to people who want to do really, really bad things. This makes me wonder, should we keep trying to help nations that despise us for trying to help them? Part of me says yes, because no matter how much you despise me, I don't want jihadis taking your wives and daughters as captives. Hate me all you want. I don't want you to submit to that. So I'd still love to help you. But we all have limited time and limited resources. So I'm thinking that maybe the only help we can give to Western European nations is to continue warning them, hoping that they eventually break whatever spell they're under. If we're going to help in other ways, maybe we'd be better off helping countries that want to survive and who appreciate any help we can give them. For example, when we were in Israel and people found out that we don't want to see Israel fall to jihadis, they had nothing but love for us. From regular citizens all the way up to government officials, nothing but gratitude towards people who want to help them. Lots of small businesses in Israel went out of business after the war started because lots of small businesses in Israel are tourism based, and there was no tourism after the war started. We couldn't do much to help businesses, but AP was contacted by someone who said we could help by promoting Artza boxes. There's a company that gathers products made in Israel from small businesses, Jewish and Christian businesses, and some charities, and they send them to you in a box. Some of the small businesses only survived because they could sell items in these Artza boxes. So we each did a promo, which isn't a lot, but it's something we could do. And we got a lot of messages from people who were extremely grateful that we were even thinking about helping them. Again, very different from the UK, where if you want to help them, you're the enemy. So there are people who want to subjugate Western European nations. All we can really do is continue to warn them until they start paying attention. There are people who want to subjugate other nations, and these other nations don't need to be warned because they're not insane and they understand the danger they're in. If we can do anything to help these other nations, nations that actually want to survive, even if we can only do something small, it's good to do it. A bunch of people doing something small to help adds up to something big. Speaking of doing something to help, if you're not signed up to get a quarterly Artza box, please sign up. They're not very expensive, especially considering what you're getting and how many people you're helping to make it through some difficult times. Why is this important? Well, jihadis are thinking long term. They often know they can't win a fight, but they'll fight anyway and use the fight to spread hostility against their enemy and to hurt the economy of their enemy, with the goal of weakening their enemy for a future fight they hope they can win. As a general rule, when you figure out what evil people are planning, and you can think of some small way to toss a monkey wrench into their plan, good idea to do it, especially if a bunch of people start tossing in monkey wrenches. I just gave you one easy way to help. There's a link to the Artza website in the description box. You can use the promo code DIZZLE for a discount. They won't hate you for signing up. They'll love you for helping. They'll love me for telling you how to help. As for Great Britain, or should I say not so Great Britain, or perhaps even aspiring Sharia-compliant hellhole Britanistan, my goodness, warn people that they might not be welcome in your country before they make the same stupid mistake I did. That's not a lot to ask, considering the thousands of dollars you delusional, self-destructive clowns just cost me.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Have you been sitting on a smart business
Getting
idea
dark here.
and need
There's
to
no
get
light
it
in
online?
this office. This is my father-in-law's office.
Reject you.
So, yeah, I mean, the British government banning David Wood, that says it all. Yeah, I mean, he's basically said it, hasn't he? Britain is insane. Britain, my own country, is insane. It's got a death wish. It's allowing itself to be Sharia-ized. Britain is becoming dominated by Sharia law. It's going to be, taken over by Islam in the next 10 to 20 years. And David has been warning people about the problems that will present. And the British government doesn't want to listen, and they banned him. And I just want to say that, I'm a defender of free speech, and I believe that David has a right to defend his ideas and beliefs, and he doesn't spread hate. He's a debater. He's an apologist. Yet there are Islamic apologists that do propagate violence, that do preach violence, that have been let into the United Kingdom and that are preaching right now in the United Kingdom. They're preaching jihad. I've seen videos of people actually, when they sing River to the Sea, I've seen people like Mohammed Hijab and people like that calling for jihad, but he's never been arrested. And I've seen people shouting jihad on the streets of the UK. None of them have been arrested, and a number of them are not British citizens, but they've not been arrested. And yet David, who doesn't preach hate, believes in free speech, believes in debate and having logical argument. Another person, don't they ban prayers in Fatah? I don't know what you mean. You'll have to just expound that, my friend. Expound that for me. They ban prayers outside abortion clinics, which is ridiculous. So it's getting dark here, so there's no lighting in this my father-in-law's office here. So yeah, if I was in charge of the Home Office, I'd let David Wood in. I'd let anybody in. I'd let anybody in, so long as they respect other people, so long as they're involved, they want dialogue and debate and discussion. Let them in. And why David can't come to the United Kingdom is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And actually, what you're doing as a government, you're promoting hate. You're not promoting unity because you're not allowing people to speak and to say what they need to say and to speak. You're not allowing people to warn about specific dangers. You're not allowing discussion and debate about specific issues in a culture. Very, very sensitive and important issues that need to be debated and discussed. And as the British government, you're squashing debate, you're silencing debate, and actually that's going to backfire. That's going to create hatred and resentment, and it's going to blow up in your face. So you're not achieving anything. Let the best ideas win. Let people debate and discuss. So why you won't let uh, David Wood come into the UK and debate and discuss ideas is madness, and it's anti-democratic, it's anti-free speech, and it's a sign of the fascism in Britain today. So what has happened to David Wood is fascism, pure and simple. The British government have no justification for stopping him coming into the UK, and yet they've allowed jihadists by the tens of thousands to come on boats by the thousands. Many of them believe in jihad. Many of them believe in jihad, and you've allowed them to come in illegally, and yet you don't say anything about them. You don't send them back. You don't stop them. But yet, a man who believes in free speech, a man who's willing to debate and have dialogue, you're not allowing him to come and visit our country. It's absolutely insane. It is absolutely madness. Total, utter insanity, total, utter madness. Our country, the United Kingdom, has collapsed. It is no longer a democracy. It's pure and simple a fascist country. We are living in a fascist country. That's the United Kingdom now. You can't post anything on Facebook. You can't post anything on Twitter without the police knocking on your door. You can't say you can't speak your mind. You can't say something and say, I disagree with gay rights, I disagree with transgender, I disagree with Islam. You can't say that anymore, else you get arrested. It becomes a hate crime. It's insanity. It's destroying our country. It's destroying Britain, and it's not going to go well. In the end, it's going to be a disaster. There's going to be, I don't want it to happen, but there's going to be revolution. There's going to be a complete revolution because people will get sick of being squashed and silenced and demonized and not allowed to have their free speech. So if you're not willing to have David Wood come to the country and to debate and discuss, a man who believes in free speech, then the country, United Kingdom, has a death wish, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to implode and collapse under its own demise. And like you said, there are some countries like Poland, they want to defend their country. They want to preserve their culture. But yet the United Kingdom has a complete and utter death wish, and it's not going to end well. It's going to end in complete, utter Enoch Powell, rivers of blood. That's what it's going to end up as. I don't want it to end up like that, but that's what it's going to happen because you're suppressing people's freedom to express themselves. You're suppressing people's freedom to say what they want to say and to debate the debates. It's not me that's saying this. There is a professor in London, a professor of counterterrorism, and he said the trajectory that the United Kingdom is going on Hey, Hammer, thank you, bro. The trajectory. This is a professor of counterterrorism in London, a big professor. He said that Britain is on the trajectory of civil war, and not only Britain but the West, because of this demonizing of other people's views and not allow them to debate and discuss. And that's where we're heading for, because you're silencing people's freedom, and it's not right. It's just not right at all. It's unjust, and it's anti-intellectual, and it's anti-democratic. David should be allowed to come to the United Kingdom and debate. He's not pushing hate. He's pushing the importance of debate and discussion and dialogue. He respects individual people's rights to debate and discuss. So that you silence him is a sign that you want to destroy Britain and you want to destroy the culture of Britain, because destroying free speech, you've entered civil war. You have basically crushed the nation into silence, and people won't put up with it. People eventually will make a stand and say enough's enough. And what happened to Ukraine in the revolution only like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, will happen to the United Kingdom. People will rebel against this tyranny that's come upon our land. So you're only creating a rod for your own back. You're creating. So, these are good comments here. That's it. It's no longer Great Britain anymore. So it's a sad state of affairs concerning the United Kingdom that they banned David Wood. It's absolutely outrageous, totally outrageous that they banned David Wood, and it's a sad day. It gets worse and worse for the United Kingdom. It's a sad day, but we've got to continue to shine in the light. So God bless you. I got to go. This is the GG podcast. Look out for it when it comes on air. We'll say various things. Support my wife and me doing the Lord's work. You can support us here. You can support us here. And you can support us here. 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 Okay. Gotta go. Thank you for the great comments. And God bless you. And take care. And God bless David Wood. We love you, brother. And keep up the good work. And God bless you and everybody else. And take care now.